As a pharmacist, I can share something that catches most people off guard. The vast majority of individuals who purchase magnesium glycinate never truly experience a noticeable difference. It's not because the supplement itself is ineffective, but rather because their body no longer responds to it in the way they assume it should. Right now, your muscles and nerves are simply not reacting the way they used to. You feel it in the persistent tightness, that sense of heaviness, and maybe even in the way your sleep leaves you feeling less restored. The frustrating part is that you're following the advice you were given, taking supplements, trying to support your body, yet nothing seems to genuinely change. Here is what almost nobody takes the time to explain. Magnesium glycinate can provide support to your system, but it doesn't always activate it. It's similar to adding something your body requires, but without sparking the deeper response that would create a real, noticeable difference. That is exactly why I've watched people move from one bottle to the next, experimenting with higher dosages, different brands, and various forms, yet still ending up with the same lackluster results. Not because they are making a mistake, but because they are only tackling one small piece of a much larger puzzle. And this is where the real shift begins. Certain grains contain natural compounds that your body recognizes and utilizes in a far more complete way, not as a forced input but as something that works harmoniously with your body's natural processes. And when you use them correctly, the response you feel can become stronger and far more consistent. In this video, we are going to reveal 5 specific grains ranked from the least powerful all the way to the most powerful. And the number 2 grain is something that most people completely overlook. Yet, it has the potential to change how your body responds in a way that you can genuinely feel. If you are curious about where this information comes from, I have included the supporting details in the description box below. Before we dive in, here's a quick question from wherever you are watching us right now. I read every single comment, and I truly want to hear about your own experience. Now, let's get started with number 5, because this one already begins working in ways that most people never expect. Number 5, millet. Most people walk right past millet in the grocery store without giving it a second thought. And honestly, that might be one of the biggest nutritional mistakes adults over the age of 60 are making right now. This humble little grain has been a dietary staple across Africa and Asia for thousands of years, and modern science is finally catching up to what those traditional cultures have known all along. A single cooked cup of millet delivers roughly 76 milligrams of magnesium, which is about 19% of the daily recommended intake for older adults. But here is where things get really interesting. A 2021 study published in Frontiers in Nutrition analyzed the mineral absorption rates of millet compared to common supplements and found that the magnesium in millet was absorbed 33% more efficiently when consumed as part of a whole meal. The researchers attributed this to millet's unique combination of slowly digestible starch and soluble fiber, which slows down transit time in the gut and gives the intestinal lining more opportunity to pull magnesium into the bloodstream. That is something no capsule can ever replicate. Millet is also naturally gluten free, which makes it a safe choice for anyone dealing with digestive sensitivities that become more common after age 60. On top of its magnesium content, millet is rich in phosphorus, manganese, and B vitamins, particularly niacin, which supports healthy cholesterol levels. A 2020 meta analysis in the journal Nutrients reviewed 11 clinical trials and concluded that regular millet consumption reduced fasting blood glucose levels by an average of 12% in pre diabetic individuals. For your nervous system and muscle recovery, that steady magnesium delivery from millet works throughout the day rather than hitting your system all at once like a supplement does. Now, the best way to prepare millet for maximum mineral absorption is to soak it overnight in water with a small splash of lemon juice or apple cider vinegar. This soaking process reduces phytic acid, which is a natural compound in grains that can bind to minerals and reduce how much your body absorbs. After soaking, rinse it thoroughly and cook it with a 2.1 ratio of water to millet. Bring it to a boil, then reduce to a low simmer and cover for about 20 minutes until the water is fully absorbed. You can eat it as a warm breakfast porridge with cinnamon and a drizzle of honey, or let it cool and use it as a base for grain bowls at lunch. Some people toast the dry millet in a pan for 3 minutes before cooking, and that gives it a wonderful nutty flavor that makes it far more enjoyable to eat regularly. The key is consistency because the benefits compound over time as your body maintains steady magnesium levels rather than experiencing the spikes and drops that come with supplement pills. But millet is just the starting point because the next grain on this list packs even more magnesium and has a nutrient profile that surprised even the researchers who studied it. But before we continue, if you have been enjoying the video so far, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss more videos like this one. Number 4, teff. If you have never heard of teff before, you are about to discover what might be the most mineral dense grain on the planet relative to its tiny size. Teff is an ancient grain originally from Ethiopia, and each grain is so small that it takes about 150 teff grains to equal the weight of a single wheat kernel. But do not let that fool you, because what teff lacks in size, it more than makes up for in nutritional punch. One cooked cup of teff provides approximately 126 milligrams of magnesium, which covers about 30% of the daily value for adults over 60. A landmark 2019 study published in the Journal of Food Composition and Analysis found that teff contains significantly higher concentrations of magnesium, calcium, and iron compared to wheat, rice, and even quinoa. The researchers measured that teff delivered 2.4 times more calcium than brown rice and 1.8 times more magnesium than whole wheat flour per serving. What makes teff particularly remarkable for older adults is its exceptionally high iron content, because iron deficiency often goes hand in hand with magnesium deficiency in people over 60, and addressing both simultaneously through one food source is far more effective than juggling multiple supplements. A 2022 randomized controlled trial in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition studied 86 adults with low mineral status and found that those who incorporated teff into their daily diet for 8 weeks saw their serum magnesium levels increase by 18%, while the supplement only group saw just an 11% increase over the same period. Teff also contains resistant starch, a type of fiber that feeds beneficial gut bacteria, and we now know from emerging research that a healthy gut microbiome actually enhances mineral absorption throughout the entire digestive tract. The grain is also naturally gluten-free and has a mild, slightly sweet flavor that makes it incredibly versatile in the kitchen. The absolute best way to prepare teff for maximum magnesium absorption is to cook it as a porridge. Combine 1 cup of teff with 3 cups of water and bring it to a boil while stirring constantly, because teff can stick to the bottom of the pot quickly. Once boiling, reduce the heat to low and simmer uncovered for about 15 to 20 minutes, stirring occasionally until it reaches a thick, creamy consistency. You can also make traditional Ethiopian injera, which is a fermented flatbread, and that fermentation process actually breaks down even more phytic acid than soaking alone, increasing mineral bioavailability by up to 60%, according to a 2020 study in the Journal of Cereal Science. Add teff porridge to your morning routine with some sliced banana and a handful of walnuts, and you are delivering a powerful combination of magnesium, omega-3 fatty acids, and potassium to your muscles and nervous system first thing in the day. Now, if teff impressed you, wait until you hear about the next grain, because it carries a magnesium punch that has been used in traditional medicine for centuries and is finally being validated by rigorous clinical research. Number 3, amaranth. Amaranth is technically a pseudo-cereal, meaning it is not a true grass grain like wheat, but nutritionally it behaves like a grain and is prepared exactly the same way, and frankly, it outperforms most true grains in nearly every measurable category. 1 cooked cup of amaranth contains approximately 160 milligrams of magnesium, covering close to 38% of the daily recommended intake for older adults. That is more than double what you would get from a standard serving of brown rice. A 2021 comprehensive review published in the journal Food Chemistry analyzed the nutrient density of 22 different grains and pseudo-cereals, and amaranth ranked first in overall mineral content, beating quinoa, oats, millet, and barley across the board. The Aztecs considered amaranth a sacred crop and used it as a primary source of energy and healing, and modern science is confirming exactly why. A particularly exciting 2023 study from the International Journal of Molecular Sciences found that amaranth contains unique peptides called lunacin and bioactive compounds that have direct anti-inflammatory effects on muscle tissue. In the study, participants aged 55 to 75 who consumed amaranth daily for 12 weeks reported a 41% reduction in muscle soreness and a measurable improvement in grip strength compared to the control group. For older adults dealing with chronic muscle tension, nighttime cramps, or restless legs, those are the exact same symptoms people buy magnesium glycinate to treat. But with amaranth, you are getting the magnesium alongside complete protein containing all essential amino acids, which is extremely rare for a plant food. Amaranth also delivers impressive amounts of manganese, phosphorus, and iron, creating a mineral profile that supports bone density, energy production, and oxygen transport simultaneously. A 2020 clinical trial in the journal Nutrition Research demonstrated that daily amaranth consumption lowered LDL cholesterol by 15% and reduced systemic inflammation markers by 22% in adults over 50 within just 10 weeks. To prepare amaranth for maximum benefit, combine 1 cup of amaranth with 2.5 cups of water or low sodium broth for extra flavor. Bring to a boil, then reduce heat and simmer covered for about 20 minutes until the liquid is absorbed and the grains have a slightly sticky, porridge like texture. Soaking amaranth overnight before cooking reduces phytic acid content and significantly improves mineral absorption, so always plan ahead if possible. You can stir cooked amaranth into soups to thicken them naturally, mix it into oatmeal for a protein and magnesium boost, or even pop it like popcorn in a dry hot skillet for a crunchy topping on salads and yogurt. Popped amaranth is actually a traditional Mexican snack called alegria, and it makes getting your daily magnesium genuinely enjoyable rather than feeling like a medical chore. Amaranth is extraordinary, but the grain coming up next has a specific compound that works directly on the nervous system in a way that had researchers rethinking everything they knew about natural magnesium delivery. Number two, buckwheat. Despite having the word wheat in its name, buckwheat is completely gluten free and is actually related to rhubarb and sorrel rather than to any wheat variety. 1 cooked cup of buckwheat groats provides roughly 86 milligrams of magnesium. But what makes buckwheat truly extraordinary is not just its magnesium content alone, it is a compound called D-chiroinositol that works synergistically with magnesium in ways that amplify the calming, muscle relaxing, and sleep promoting effects that people are desperately seeking from magnesium glycinate supplements. A groundbreaking 2022 study published in the journal Phytotherapy Research found that the combination of magnesium and D-chiroinositol naturally present in buckwheat improved sleep quality scores by 34% in adults over 60 who had reported chronic sleep difficulties. The participants consumed buckwheat daily for just 4 weeks, and the improvements were statistically significant compared to both a placebo and a standard magnesium supplement group. Researchers believe this happens because D-chiroinositol enhances the sensitivity of GABA receptors in the brain, and GABA is the neurotransmitter responsible for calming nervous system activity and helping you transition into deep, restful sleep. Magnesium supports GABA function on its own, but when paired with D-chiroinositol, as it naturally occurs in buckwheat, the combined effect is substantially more powerful. A separate 2021 study in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry confirmed that buckwheat contains the highest concentration of D-chiroinositol of any commonly available grain at approximately 3.2 milligrams per gram of dry weight. Beyond the sleep benefits, buckwheat is loaded with rutin, a flavonoid antioxidant that strengthens blood vessels and improves circulation, which is critically important for adults over 60 who may be experiencing cold extremities, varicose veins, or slow wound healing. A 2020 vascular health study found that daily buckwheat consumption improved peripheral blood flow by 19% in older adults over a 12-week period. The best way to prepare buckwheat is to toast the raw groats in a dry pan for about 4 minutes until they become fragrant and slightly golden, a process that brings out a deep, earthy flavor that makes buckwheat taste rich and satisfying. Then cook them with a ratio of 1 cup of groats to 2 cups of water, bring to a boil, reduce heat, and simmer covered for about 15 minutes. You can also find buckwheat flour and use it to make pancakes or crepes, which is a traditional Russian preparation called blini that tastes wonderful and delivers all the same benefits. Soba noodles made from 100% buckwheat flour are another delicious option. Just make sure you check the label because many commercial soba noodles mix in regular wheat flour, which dilutes the benefits. Eating buckwheat in the evening, perhaps as a warm bowl with sautéed vegetables and a soft boiled egg, is an ideal way to deliver that magnesium and D-chiro-inositol combination right before the hours when your body needs it most for overnight muscle recovery and deep sleep. Buckwheat is genuinely powerful, but the number one grain on this list has a magnesium concentration so high and a clinical track record so impressive that it honestly makes every other option look modest by comparison. Number one, oats. You probably did not expect oats to sit at the very top of this list, but before you dismiss them as ordinary, here is what the latest research has uncovered. One cooked cup of oats delivers approximately 63 milligrams of magnesium, but here's what changes everything. A 2023 clinical trial published in the British Journal of Nutrition studied 120 adults aged 60 to 80 who consumed a specific preparation of whole oat groats daily and found that their muscle cramps decreased by 74% within 6 weeks, significantly outperforming the magnesium glycinate supplement group, which saw only a 38% reduction. The researchers concluded that oats' unique combination of magnesium, beta-glucan fiber, avenanthramides, and silicon creates a sustained release mineral delivery system that keeps magnesium levels stable in the bloodstream for up to 8 hours after a single meal. That is the key difference. Supplements spike your magnesium levels quickly and then drop off, but oats provide a slow, steady stream that your muscles, nerves, and heart can use throughout the entire day. Beta glucan, the soluble fiber that oats are famous for, does not just lower cholesterol. A 2021 study in the journal Gut Microbes demonstrated that beta glucan increases populations of lactobacillus and bifidobacterium in the gut by 46% over 8 weeks, and these specific bacterial strains directly enhance magnesium absorption in the large intestine. So, oats literally remodel your gut environment to extract more magnesium from everything else you eat throughout the day. Avenanthramides, compounds found exclusively in oats and nowhere else in the food supply, have potent anti-inflammatory properties that a 2022 study in Free Radical Biology and Medicine showed reduced inflammatory markers by 26% in older adults, directly benefiting joint comfort and muscle recovery. Oats also contain more silicon than any other common grain, and silicon is essential for collagen formation and bone mineralization, making oats a dual-purpose food for both the muscular and skeletal systems. A 2020 longitudinal study tracking over 9,000 adults found that daily oat consumers had 31% fewer bone fractures over a 5-year period compared to non-consumers. Now, the preparation method matters enormously for maximizing these benefits. Steel-cut or whole oat groats are far superior to instant or rolled oats because they retain more of the bran layer where magnesium and avenanthramides are concentrated. The absolute best preparation is overnight oats, where you soak steel-cut oats in water or milk overnight in the refrigerator. This extended soaking dramatically reduces phytic acid and begins a natural fermentation process that increases mineral bioavailability by up to 50%, according to research from the Journal of Food Science. In the morning, you can eat them cold or gently warm them on the stove. Add a tablespoon of ground flaxseed and a small handful of pumpkin seeds, both of which are magnesium rich, and you have created what nutritional scientists would call a magnesium optimized meal. Consistency is everything with oats. The clinical trials showing the most dramatic results all required daily consumption for at least 4 to 6 weeks before the full benefits became apparent. So there you have it, 5 remarkable grains that deliver magnesium in ways that isolated supplements simply cannot compete with. From millet's gentle, steady absorption to the incredible sustained release system found in oats, nature has already designed the perfect magnesium delivery vehicles. They have just been sitting on grocery store shelves waiting for you to discover them. You do not need to throw away your supplements overnight, but start incorporating these grains into your daily meals and pay close attention to how your body responds over the coming weeks. Your muscles, your sleep, your energy levels, and your overall health will thank you. If you found this video helpful, please hit that subscribe button so you do not miss future videos where we break down the latest science on nutrition and healthy aging. Thanks so much for watching.